everyone, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Night 5. Apologies? Got a little catching up to do. 2 weeks ago, I don't know, I was on staycation, and all I really felt like doing was watching horror movies because it was leading up to Halloween, and I didn't really feel like recording. So I thought, I might get up last week. Well, last week was Halloween, and I was busy at Spooky Empire, which, by the way, all the Spooky Empire vlogs are up now on this very channel. So I'm like, okay, well, I didn't record then. I didn't record last week. I'll do a double shot tonight. So that's what we're doing. We're doing the makeup one that we missed, and we're doing another one right after. Will they both be posted? Will they both be edited and posted tonight? Yes. Will it make the deadline before midnight? That is a test. It's been, if it is, it is what it is. If it depends on how the internet is, and if it cooperates, and if it happens, it happens. If not, it's not. I'm gonna try to make these episodes with as little edits as possible, so that makes it easier and quicker to be done. But I'm not making any more promises as to what time. They'll definitely be up for you in the morning by the time you wake up tomorrow. Let's just put it that way. So Saturday Night 5 on a Sunday, why not? Who cares? Right? I'm sure that's when you watch this anyway, because of how late I post them sometimes. So nevertheless, let's get started. Today's episode, since it was supposed to be part of October's episodes, it's a little fun one. Halloween was right around, Halloween was last week. We just had Halloween. Like I said, I was busy at Spooky Empire. The wife and I went to Spooky Empire. I got to be Ozzy Osbourne for Halloween. And then I got to be Chris Jericho the next day of the convention. And then the third day I was NWK. I'm telling you what I was because that's what this episode is about, but only from when I was a kid. So this is my 5 favorite Halloween costumes from my childhood. That ranges from ages 1 to 17. Because 18, I don't even think I was anything for 18. To be honest with you. So, all right. Well, guys, gals, everyone else, let's get started with number 5. Funny that I mentioned 17, because that's how old I was in this picture. At number 5, Halloween 2000. I just turned 17 for whatever reason, putting absolute zero effort in my costume whatsoever that year. Because it was just an excuse to wear the wig and go out. I decided to be Howard Stern. I know. How do you dress up as Howard Stern for Halloween? Well, yeah, you treated the fart man, but no, I'm just a plain old DJ Howard Stern. I should have worn headphones. Now that I think about it, like a headset. Oh shit, that would have been even better. But I had the glasses that you didn't see, and then I had the wig. That wig you will see in a later look on this list, FYI. But, and yes, my brother was Santa Claus that year. Yeah, one of my friends who one was dressed as Britney Spears, and then my other friend didn't dress up at all, but that was a fun year. Like I said, it was one of my last, I think, that I actually went like legit trick-or-treating. That didn't consist of like a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party where you go around and trick-or-treating spot. No. Like the legit door-to-door trick-or-treating. I think this year was the last year I went trick-or-treating in my hometown of Schaumburg, Illinois. Because I really don't remember doing my 18th. And then by the time I turned 19, I was already living in Florida, and I definitely did not go then. So, yeah, that's, it was bittersweet. But at the same time, what can you do? Now, of course, now as an adult, I still dress up. Thanks to the wife, who likes to dress up as well on Halloween. And Halloween's like one of her favorite holidays. So it's always fun to do. And that's why we go to spooky and stuff. But this is about childhood. This isn't about my favorite adults. That'll come next Halloween. I promise. That'll come next year. So put a pin in that. And let's go to number 4. This was either 91 or 92. Shit, or was it 93? It might have been 91. I will have to look at the picture again. 91, Halloween 91. No, it wasn't Halloween 91. Because I think that was a Green Bay Packer that year. Shit. That was not one of my favorite childhood. No, it's just I'm a Bears fan. But anyways, so it might have been 92. I'll look at the thing. I'll look at the. I know I shared it on a Throwback Thursday, so I'll look if I said the year there or not. But nevertheless, a jailbird. Yes, the jailbird gets one up over Howard Stern because, I mean, at least it's not shown, however, in the pictures is my ball and chain on one of my legs. I wish I had a better pic of the full get up so that you could see the ball and chain. But what you can see is probably, I'm a jailbird. And what crime did I commit? I don't know, probably committed the crime of having the worst possible drawn-on beard in the history of ever. It's supposed to be stubble, but it was just a bunch of black marks, fucking, the washable, the markers, just took a marker and, Dad just took a marker and went to town on my face. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. With the marker, he drew. Anyways, so yeah, that was that. That was a fun one. It's fun to pretend to be a jailbird, but it's not fun to actually be in jail. So stay in school, kids. Don't stay out of troubles. Don't go to jail. Like me, I've never been in jail, so I don't would. Why would I go to jail for what? Come on. So then there's that. Yeah, that's really all I got for that. Number 3, I'm wearing stripes again, but they're vertical and not horizontal. It's showtime. I got to be Beetlejuice for Halloween. And maybe, well, you know what? I'm going to say if the jailbird was 92, then the Beetlejuice was 93, I'm going to say. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think so. And if I'm not getting these dates right, like I said, I will check in post. Because there was a year I was Robin Hood. That'll be a honorable mention. Might as well mention it now. I was Robin Hood one year. That might have been 91, I'm guessing. Yes. I want to say yes. That's all I'll say. But back to Beetlejuice. So, yeah, Mom did the makeup. Pretty good job, I think. Now, for school, I wore the costume, but I had one of those, the Beetlejuice mask, not the Ben Cooper, where you can't fucking breathe out of masks, but the mask that was sold with the movie toy line, and you press a button, and like snakes come out of the hair or the wig or something like that. You know what I mean? If I find it, I'm sure I'll find a picture and post it here in post of what I'm talking about. But yeah, that was that was. I didn't really like the mask to wearing at school because kids were picking on me and making fun of me. But fuck them. Fuck them kids. No. So that's why I opted to do with the makeup for Halloween. And I think Mom did a pretty good job. I think. Yeah. So that was that. She did a little green around the eyes. And yeah. Good stuff. And of course, me being the showman that I am, my little, arms, the V. Like I'm a fucking cheerleader. But always a showman. I was as a kid. Still kind of am. No. What number was this? Number 3. That was number 3, Beetlejuice. Because why not? Because Beetlejuice is awesome. Even more awesome is number 2. Number 2. The year is 1997. I am 14 years old. We are in the middle of the Monday Night Wars between WWF and WCW. NWO is taking over WCW and the wrestling world as we know it. And I wanted to be this man for Halloween. Number 2, I was number 6. I am not a number, I'm a free man. Sorry, I was pushing it. Fucking ADHD. So here we go. A 6-pack following. You might have remembered in one of my Jeff's Life lives, I actually told the story of how I was 6-pack for Halloween that year. I got the figure from a buddy of mine. It's on my desk. I don't feel like grabbing it right now, but the picture, you've seen the picture. I'm posting the picture for you to see, so you see it. Unfortunately, I wanted the 6-pack shirt, and that year for my birthday, I just got a regular plain NWO one. Mom said she couldn't find the 6-pack shirt, 6-ball, with the 6-ball on the back. So that's unfortunate, but it was still an NWO shirt. I still have to be 6-pack, and that is the same wig I used years later for Howard Stern. So that was Halloween 1997. But probably, obviously, if you know me, my favorite costume to wear on Halloween. So nice, I wore it twice. At number 1, Elvis Aaron Presley, the King. Big Elvis fan. For those that really know me, know. So naturally, I eventually had to be him for Halloween. And I enjoyed being him for Halloween so much that I wore it again in 95. So 94 and 95, that is a definite. I know that for a fact. Because then in 96, for my 6th grade winter concert, I got to be Elvis again. That was a third and final time I wore that jump. Well, no, not the third. Might have been the 4th. I don't know how many times I wore it, but nevertheless, regardless, that was the final year I wore the jumpsuit. Which, by the way, first of all, couple things. Go back to the photo for a second. Okay. Couple things I wanted you to notice. Number one being the belt. You see the belt? Mom bejeweled the belt. She made the E, right? By 1996, the E looked like something else that it wasn't a letter anymore by the time 1996 rolled around. But that's number one. Number two, the wig. Legit. The wig was originally gray. We legit went to the lady that does my hair. We went to her, salon, and she dyed it for us. She dyed the wig black. This is a true story. And you see those sideburns? Most painful thing to take off as a child. As I was, 11, 12? But they hurt like a bitch coming off my face because, we didn't use any spirit remover, spirit remover. I didn't even think that was a thing at the time. In fact, I'm pretty sure they just used glue. They literally glued on the freaking sideburns, and it hurt like a bitch every time they whipped it off my face. Oh, and the last thing, it's a jumpsuit. It's white. Clearly, you can see through white, right? Yes. So they wouldn't see my underwear. I wore tights, white tights underneath the jumpsuit. Because white on white is better than, yeah. So there you have it. That's all the secrets about this costume. But I loved wearing it nevertheless. I was so happy to wear it. Big Elvis fan. Always have been. I would not don a jumpsuit again until 2009. And I even talked about that on my vlog, Jeff's Live Vlog. So check that video out when you get a chance. At least that was a 2-piece, not a 1-piece, thank God. But this one was a 1-piece, and it was a little tight by the end of by 96, but still fun regardless. So there you have it. My top 5 favorite Halloween costumes. Something like that. I'll title this something like that. 5 favorite childhood Halloween costumes. There we go. Something along those lines. This has been another episode of Saturday Night 5. Thank you for watching Saturday Night 5. Be sure to like and subscribe. And we will see you next time. Right after this episode, actually. For another edition 5. I gotta think of a solid. I keep screwing up the end tagline. I gotta think of one and just stick with it. Never mind.